Introduction. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we are kicking off a massive journey through the chronological events surrounding the X-Men and the various mutants scattered across the Marvel Universe. Since this is the beginning of the series, we have a blank slate, and we're looking at some incredibly pivotal moments that set the stage for decades of mutant history. We'll be covering early appearances of legendary figures like Wolverine, Sabretooth and Magneto, while also exploring tragic origin stories that shape the core of the X-Men teams. Let's jump right into the action. Part 1: Incredible Hulk number 161, 1973. Hank McCoy, famously known as the Beast, is one of the founding members of the X-Men. Originally appearing as a highly athletic and brilliant young man with unusually large hands and feet, Hank's mutation granted him superhuman strength, agility, and a genius-level intellect. Despite his somewhat brutish appearance, he is incredibly articulate, often quoting classic literature and demonstrating expertise in biochemistry and genetics. Later in his career, an experiment goes wrong, causing him to mutate further into a furry, blue-haired creature with fangs and claws. Even with his terrifying exterior, Hank remains the moral compass and the scientific backbone of whatever team he joins. He battles the constant prejudice of society while striving to bridge the gap between humans and mutants through science and diplomacy. Calvin Rankin, the Mimic, is a unique figure in mutant history. He wasn't born with his powers. Instead, an accidental chemical explosion in his father's laboratory permanently altered his cellular structure. Calvin gained the extraordinary ability to perfectly copy the superhuman powers, skills, and even physical traits of anyone he stands near. If he's close to the X-Men, he gets Cyclops' optic blasts, Beast's agility, and Angel's wings all at once. The catch is that these copied abilities usually fade once he moves out of range. Calvin's life is a constant struggle with arrogance, resentment, and a desperate desire to belong. He actually joined the X-Men for a brief period, becoming the first non-founding member to leave the team, but his overwhelming ego and unstable powers constantly push him away from the people trying to help him. Hank McCoy and his companion Vera Cantor trek deep into the Canadian wilderness, racing against the clock. They're searching for Calvin Rankin, the Mimic, who is hiding out in a remote cabin. Calvin is suffering from a lethal condition. His power absorption abilities are wildly out of control, constantly pulling the life force from everyone around him. If left unchecked, this expanding radius of energy drain could eventually kill millions of people. Hank knows the stakes are incredibly high, but he manages to sedate Calvin just in time and begins desperately working on a cure using the limited equipment they brought along. Coincidentally, the Incredible Hulk is wandering through the exact same stretch of the Quebec forest. The Green Goliath starts feeling nauseous and weak, completely unaware that he's being affected by Calvin's passive energy drain. Driven by pure anger and the instinct to destroy whatever is causing his pain, the Hulk tracks the sensation directly to the cabin. He bursts into the clearing, ready to smash the entire building to splinters. Inside, Hank realizes they're completely outmatched. But he forms a dangerous plan. He figures the Hulk's massive, gamma-radiated physiology might be exactly what they need to overload and stabilize Calvin's mutating cells. Calvin wakes up right as the Hulk attacks and immediately absorbs the monster's raw, gamma-powered strength. The two titans clash in a brutal, earth-shaking brawl. They trade massive blows, leveling trees and shattering the surrounding landscape. The fight pushes Calvin to his absolute limits. Just as Hank predicted, the sheer volume of gamma radiation Calvin pulls from the Hulk completely burns out his powers. Calvin loses his mimicking abilities permanently, but the feedback loop cures him. The Hulk, realizing the pain is gone, loses interest and leaps away into the sky, leaving Hank and Vera to tend to the newly powerless Calvin.